Cimabue is one of the first artists to break away from the Italo-Byzantine style. He wants to pursue naturalism rather than the rigid forms of the medieval period. And when I say naturalism is the desire to work from nature rather than convention. So just because people have depicted a certain saint in a certain way doesn't mean we always have to do that. Maybe I can have a new model sit for it. Maybe I can study how the form would really look if it existed in real life. And the piece we're looking at is the Madonna Enthroned with Angels and Prophets from Santa Trinita. And this shows the artist's combined reliance on Byzantine models for the composition and background. However, the gold of the drapery is no longer simply decorative. The gold is there to enhance the depth. So as we look at it closer, you can make out the gold in the folds of her robe, both here in the red as well as in the blue. He's using the gold as a highlight to reflect light and give us the sense that those elements, those ridges in the clothing, are actually advancing forward. Cimabue had also created a deeper space with angels set within the space. Here, instead of looking at, for example, the St. Francis altarpiece where everything simply exists one on top of the other as a giant stack, we get the sense of angels dropping back into the background, really surrounding the throne rather than simply existing on the edges of it. The throne itself is a massive structure, receding into space, with the prophets within the space of the throne reinforcing a sense of depth. Now, as we tear it apart, the prophets seem a little unusual. First of all, Mary can't get off this throne. If she does, she will fall directly onto them, but they exist for a purpose. These are Old Testament prophets acting as the foundation for the New Testament, which comes into being with the birth of Jesus. When we look at Mary and Jesus, Mary is still basically a spiritual figure. There's nothing feminine about her. There's nothing motherly about her. She could be replaced with a chair. Jesus looks like a small, fully grown adult, simply shrunk down to about 2 feet tall. He has some youthful appearance, but he definitely neither acts nor looks like a baby. And his right hand, we see a sign of benediction, so a sign of blessing. In his left, a scroll referring to the New Testament, that's his role, to bring the New Testament into the world. Mary, again, basically doesn't exist under these robes. All we have are hands and head. The angels are fairly ambiguous, and that's because angels traditionally have no gender. The throne, however, is very three-dimensional, and that gives it that sense of heaviness or sense of weight. When we talk about weight in painting, we're talking in large part about the illusion of volume. How heavy does this thing really look? And this throne is quite massive. Even the curves in the front seem to fall back in a very natural way. And this is a massive shift as we move forward into the Renaissance.